What's up, man? I hope you're doing well. On a little walk, got to get those 10K steps in. I'm at 2,830. And first of all, so excited to be running with you guys. What an incredible beginning of a new phase of your life and my life, actually. You never stop growing. You never stop being transformed into the image of the Lord. And I've really intentionally now been on this journey for about 4 or 5 years, and maybe a little thing here and there, some wisdom to share, some things that you can expect, some things that maybe would be a surprise to you, and maybe some things I wish people told me as I was starting this out. And you've already done some of the hard lifting. You've made a decision to be part of an intensive that is going to challenge you spiritually, emotionally, relationally. It's going to mentally, it's going to challenge these mindsets that you've had maybe your whole life to grow. And even if you've been in things like this before, what you're going to find is there's some area that you're going to be challenged to grow in. And so as we begin this journey, it's going to feel, what's up, how are you?
Good, how about you?
Good, doing great, man, doing great. It's going to feel at first that you're looking for certain areas to ground you. And you're going to try to figure out, what is my measure of success? What is the measure of if I'm doing well? And I would just challenge you right out of the gate to try to reject that kind of thinking. Because what you'll do is you'll put your aim on someone or something that you feel like, man, if I can just get their approval, if I can just get their encouragement, then I know I'm doing well. Well, the opposite of that is what happens when you don't get their approval, when you don't get that you're doing well, or they disagree with part of your process, or they disagree with the outcome of that process. You feel like you failed. And so I would reject the idea of looking for external validation that I'm doing well. Now, there'll be some of that in our group, and there'll be some of that as we're walking together. Of course, we always want the standard of the scriptures and holiness, but some of this is not going to look holy, but it's going to be holy. It's going to be a real mess, but that mess turns into a message. Come on, I'm a preacher. And so I would just say, as you're beginning this journey, try to reject that works-based mentality, that if I just do this, I'm going to get there, and have a growth mentality. The growth is that I embrace, first of all, I embrace that this is going to be a process. It's going to be a process of feeling like a failure, of missing the mark. It's going to be a process of dealing with guilt and shame. It's going to be a process of great victory. And I'm actually going to tell you some of the greatest victories are not the big things. It's the little mindsets that all of a sudden you realize something, or there's this light that goes on, and that little hinge shifts so much of your life, because little hinges open big doors. And you'll be so excited about that. And somebody else might say, nah, that's because it's external validation. So don't look for that external validation. Look for the growth mindset. Look for the growth mindset that I embrace success and failure, not as an end in itself, but as part of the process. And really, even that kind of terminology, this is successful, this is failure, that's works-based too. And so growth looks like something that's steady. It looks like something that's over time. It looks like something that you might not see day to day, month to month. The shift, the growth. I have actually one of my daughter's plants at my office, and just yesterday, I was propagating the plant. So I cut a stem and I put that stem in water. And so I went today and I looked at that stem to see if there's any roots. And it's only been 24 hours. And guess what? No roots. But I will tell you, in about 3 weeks, there'll be roots. I won't be able to necessarily see the growth and the progress day to day, but it's going to be there. And so there's going to be times where you feel like you're not growing, you're not getting anywhere. Let the process and the journey just run its course. As you're putting good things in, healthy things in, as you're opening up, as you're being intentional, as you're doing the work, guess what? It's going to impact you. This is like going to the gym. You might have little spaghetti arms, and those little spaghetti arms, you've been lifting 5 pounds, and you go a week by, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you're like, why am I only lifting 5 pounds? And all of a sudden that 5 pounds is going to get light. And it's going to be the same thing when you're lifting in, you're curling 50 pounds. Man, this thing's heavy, it's heavy. And all of a sudden one day that gets light. So let the process take its place. Second thing is that nobody is going to do the work for you. Nobody's going to do it for you. There is no way. There's no way that you can grow without doing the work. So if you put in you put in half effort, you're not going to even probably get half effort back. It doesn't work that way. You put in a quarter effort, you're not going to get a quarter back. You pull in your full effort, you'll grow. There's just something about understanding that nobody can put the work in for you. Not your wife, not your girlfriend, not your pastor, not your friends. If you don't put the work in, you're not going to grow. You could go to the gym all day long, and if you're watching everybody else work out, you're not going to get the benefit of that gym. You're not going to get the benefit. If you go to college and you're just watching everybody do their studies, but you don't do your studies, you're going to watch other people get a benefit that you're not going to get a benefit of. And so here's the thing. You are not, let me say it this way. You have to be intentional about putting the work in. When you put the work in, you will see the benefit. Now, let me give you a little caveat to that. This work that you're putting in is going to upend if you do it right. And I hope it's not this extreme for you, but if you put the work in, it should upend. It should swirl. It should make a mess of your relationships. That's what I think. Because if you're growing, the person you are today is not going to be the person you are tomorrow. And the person that you were is not going to be the person you are becoming. And so you're going to have to learn some new skills. You're going to have to learn some patience and some listening. And there might feel, okay, a lot emphasis on feel, a disattachment from individuals that are around you, because the way that you attached to them before could have been anxious attachment, avoidant attachment. You could have been other ways of attaching before were unhealthy. You were looking for your spouse to be pleased with everything that you did, and now you just want them to be pleased, or you're looking for to a certain individual to give you that validation, but now you don't need it anymore. So you're going through this transformation of going, I don't need what I needed before, but now they're going, well, why are you disconnecting from me? Why are you being mean towards me or disruptive towards our relationship? Because they're actually going to have to learn new ways of connecting with you. And it's not like this, well, I'm just growing so much, you have to learn new ways of connecting with me. I'm just saying, in healthy connection, that takes intentionality, that takes patience, and people that you were connected before in unhealthy ways, that will begin to come to the surface, and you'll realize, man, you have to change the way you interact with them. That might mean there might be some friends and some people that in this coming season, you're not as close to. Now, I'm not telling you to write them off. I'm just telling you, you're going to feel upheaval. That's the word. Don't be surprised. You know what you do there? Don't go to a workspace. Don't go to like, I'm just going to check them off my list to move on. Stay in the growth mindset. I'm growing. You could even be vocal about it. Hey, I know that I've been quiet lately. I'm just considering a lot of things that are going on. I'm being challenged. They might not understand if they've never walked in this kind of intensive, or they've never given themselves to the intentionality of personal growth. I think this is probably getting long already. But these are things that you're going to experience, and you're going to feel like you're doing something wrong, and you could be doing something wrong. That's the thing. You could be, but as you're being intentional, as you're allowing the Holy Spirit to show you and guide you, and as you're walking, you'll be able to correct some of those behaviors. But you know this, guys? When I'm sighting in my bow, there might be moments where I overshoot a target. That just helps me understand later on where to adjust my sights. So just because you overshoot something or because you get it wrong doesn't mean that you failed. Again, it's part of the growth process. All right, it's probably long enough for now. I'm at 4,169 steps. Love you guys. Thanks for going on a walk with me.